Welcome back to another episode of Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 8. And if you love bad kids, then you'll love this episode. Tune in.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Australia,
Tell me what you've been drinking. I can tell what you're thinking.
You know, I had to keep the mood up today, you know, because this episode was kind of somber, so I had to keep it up. So let's keep this energy going. It's a little Samantha J for you guys. Welcome back to AfterBuzz TV. We are the Real Housewives of New Jersey panel for Season 8, Episode 6. And we have a full house tonight, so I'm really excited about that. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Richie Skye, and we have the beautiful...
I'm Traci Propst. Nice to see you guys.
What's up, everybody? I'm Russell Ray.
And it's Grant's Rants. I've come back for a drop-in. I did this show for many years, and it had its highs and lows, but I'm excited about this season.
Welcome back. You're like Danielle coming right back.
Not that bad, but I'm waiting. I'm so excited for her. Oh, I'm so excited.
I was so excited for her too, yet so disappointed that we did not see her the entire episode.
Got a little phone call.
We only heard her by phone call.
Yeah.
So I was disappointed.
Even that, though, she still elbowed her way in. So good for her. Good for her.
Well, we start off with Teresa at home packing with Pops for PR. And we get a little montage that I love a montage, but can I just tell you guys that I hate eyelashes on cars?
I wrote that. I put she has eyelashes on her.
I put she would have eyelashes on her car.
So it's funny, everybody caught that. I was like, I wanted to like her much better, but she just lost points right there for me with those eyelashes.
I just got myself bad at my own eyelashes. Like when I seen it, I was like, oh my god.
It went from that shot to her crazy colored shoes. Did you guys see that?
I didn't see
I
the
didn't
Yeah,
shoes.
they went
that.
straight from the eyelashes
Yeah.
straight to her.
That makes you
orange
look
chunky,
pink.
these
yes.
As,
like
as-
making her way.
Yes, girl. But I'm gonna be like that when I'm that old. So I mean, props to her.
as we discovered a few episodes back, she loves a chunky shoe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why not?
So there we have it. And we also we know that now Pops loves his Speedos because he's planning on taking some to Puerto Rico.
Oh my god.
I would not want to see Nono's junk in.
Just leave it there.
No, I mean,
No.
Joe Gorga always said his dad was the Italian stallion, but I don't know if you want to see that much of it. Like, there's a certain age where you should cut it off. Like, 35 latest. When everything starts kind of falling, it's like we should put it away now. Maybe in some
my God.
really long board shorts or sweatpants on the beach.
Yeah, what do you wear as an old man at the beach?
Speedos.
No,
No, you definitely do not. I don't know. What would you wear? You just stay
see-
covered up in the corner, I think.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. When I go to Miami, I see older people in Speedos
Yeah.
and less than all the time.
Right?
less than.
Less than.
What's less than that? A
Got that little
G-string?
G-string
Okay.
going on.
Damn, okay.
Miami, Puerto Rico. Come on, it's hot there.
I didn't see anything like that in Puerto Rico when I went.
I don't know where you went.
It's
I don't know
definitely a
if you-
cultural thing for sure. Like,
I think
it's
it is.
definitely
Yeah.
cultural.
It's a European thing.
Yeah.
Would you guys feel
They're
comfortable
naked in
wearing
Europe,
them
so.
now?
Absolutely.
I
I'm
wouldn't.
assuming you're talking to the
would.
boys in here, because
I'm a
Yeah.
I'm a board shorts kind of guy at the beach.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like just recently I got into like the shorter ones, like the shorter, not like the board shorts. So I'm a little behind. I don't know
I'm
how
kind
Do you like
down
seeing
with
confident
the,
I'd
with the
be.
mid-thigh ones.
That's where I'm
Yeah.
at. That's like a comfortable space.
But you gotta lift. If you don't lift, then don't wear them.
don't
Do
skip
you-
leg
Do
day.
you want to see guys in Speedos or board shorts?
No, like not in America. Like it doesn't make sense here. If you go like abroad, I think it kind of makes sense and you kind of embrace the culture, but not in America.
It's very European.
Yeah.
Do you like guys with big butts?
I mean, yeah, I like a good booty.
So like, if they're wearing Speedos or like a really tight trunk, then you can see their butt.
It's true, but I don't know. It's not what I was accustomed to growing up, so it's like not
It's
foreign.
awkward. It's new.
Yeah, but you can still see their butt in short shorts, right?
I mean, true, but some people just don't know how to wear board shorts. Like they get the extra baggy ones.
Yeah,
it's like
that's
past the
true.
knee.
yeah. Oof.
Yeah, you definitely have to stay with it
Yeah.
season to season.
I like fitted ones.
Yeah,
Like,
I
yeah.
can agree
Yeah.
with
I
that.
kind of like,
ones.
yeah,
Totally.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Well, we also,
Sidebar.
speaking of butts, no, it was a perfect segue because now we get to the doctor's office where we learn that Siggy is getting her butt pellets with Dolores.
What is a butt pellet? What is it? What is it? What are they doing? Did
So-
Yolanda have this done?
It's a hormone. It's a
Yolanda
hormone.
had this done.
Did
When it was before it was cool. Yolanda did it in Beverly Hills.
Before Munchausen's.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, apparently it is a combination of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone.
But what are they inserting? Like a pelt, like a
Did
thing?
you see how thick that needle was?
They were
It was
little
this
balls.
big.
Yeah,
Like
and the
They were
balls.
little
Yeah.
balls that they
Pellets.
put in.
Literally.
Literally.
And they just hang out in your butt
See,
cheeks?
that's why it seems like a gimmick.
dissolve.
Like,
It's kind of like, I'm assuming that the hormones are encased in the pellets and then they just inject them. I don't know why they just don't.
why
just-
don't you take them orally? Like, why?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know why. I mean, but I do know people that get testosterone shots.
Yeah,
So I'm
but,
assuming
yeah.
it's similar.
Maybe they put it in
Okay.
like maybe since it's a pellet, it takes longer to break down. So if they put it in the fat cells, it like slowly.
If anyone
disintegrates.
knows,
Come
can you
through,
tweet
doctor.
us and let us know if
Call
you
me
guys
Dr. Russell Ray.
know? Please.
Well, okay, that's what we want to
questioning.
know. So we learned that she's trying to get control of her emotions and she doesn't want to be soggy anymore. It's good to see that she can actually laugh about her new nickname. I'm excited about that because I'm tired of seeing her cry. And we also learned that women need testosterone too.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So they could put the smack down. That's why.
I had no clue.
Somebody tweeted us about it. They said they hang out in your butt and slowly release over up to 6 months, according to Google. All right.
Thank you,
Thank you for the
Olga.
Google search.
Olga,
Come to
Olga
appreciate
Olga.
stays on it every week.
Oh, snaps.
Thank you.
Snaps
Shout out
for
to
Where
Olga.
in your butt? Like in the muscle? Like where did she get? I'm trying to figure out where exactly
You know,
they
in the
hang
fatty,
out.
in the fatty area.
In the fun place of the booty.
Oh, okay.
Just
The
somewhere around.
jiggly part?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Whatever works.
At this point, Siggy relays that the girls were asking about, Dolores' relationship with Frank. And we find out, she finds out that Teresa was sort of leading the charge with that. And she kind of flips out. Was she right for doing that? Because she went off. She talked about Joe Giudice possibly cheating on Teresa. She says that he's treated her just poorly throughout their relationship. And that Frank has treated her better than Joe Giudice ever treated Teresa on his best day. Quote.
She overreacted.
You think she
Hardcore.
overreacted?
Absolutely. First things first, Teresa let in, it wasn't, I don't necessarily think digging. So when she came at it was like, I don't understand what's going on. So at that point, there was two options for Siggy. Either, oh, well then why don't you just ask her?
Right.
Or they're really good friends and he needed a place to stay and that's all it is. Like, I feel like, why do people always have to feel the need to explain for other people or for yourself? And why do people have the right to feel that they can just dig? Shut it down while it's there in front of you.
I guess I didn't get the feeling that when she was asking the question that it was to be like nosy, as
Yeah.
more of it was like, who does that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it didn't feel like it
When
was
Teresa was asking?
Yeah, it didn't feel like it was like
Invasive.
I'm attacking her.
Yeah.
It felt like just kind of like a playful like who does it. But I don't necessarily know if, Dolores overreacted or not because I feel like there's a simmering beef between her and Dolores anyway. It's just unspoken.
I mean, to say that all the things that,
She said a lot.
yeah, that she said.
Yeah.
She probably felt backed into a corner, and that's usually when you get that type of reaction when,
Yeah.
like, you feel like somebody's kind of right about something and you have no other option than to bash their character. Those are some pretty low blows that I don't think somebody coming from a good place would have thrown
Yeah,
out
she's
there.
supposed to be such a loyal friend of 20 years and all this stuff. So it's kind of surprising to see that. It makes me question just how loyal she really is. If she's only loyal to Siggy. These two they have to do everything together. I mean, she even has to go and watch this woman get things inserted in her behind. I mean, really though? I mean, it's a little much. Their relationship is a little much. It always makes me laugh when these housewives have to visit the other housewife when they're getting a procedure done. They have to sit in the
Hold my
chair and
hand.
watch.
Yeah.
But typical. Of course, they're going to go together. But yeah, I'm wondering if the loyalty is selective.
I definitely think it's selective. I absolutely 110% agree with you on that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And I think to go so low with what she said made me feel like maybe Danielle was right about what Dolores said about Teresa. Only being interested in money.
Well, Teresa said it herself. I'm the sole provider. I got to make money. That's why this book deal is important to me. I have to make the money. So she's worried about. I think what happened was it was taken out of context, and then
I
everybody
totally
got
agree with you.
emotional.
I
And
agree
then-
with you. It was spun. Danielle spun it for the cameras. This is my opinion. I agree.
Yeah.
That she probably said so. Dolores probably said like, "Oh, don't even bother with Teresa right now. She's just worried about money and her kids, and she's just trying to pay everything off. It's money's a big thing." So of course she's like, "Well, she doesn't care about anybody, anything except money."
Yep.
So that it got spun. That's what it was. That way, Danielle still covers her ass. So that way she's not deemed a liar. No one's really lying there. That's why they can't get to the bottom of it because it's just spun.
Danielle always starts with that look like Dolores said something, and as your friend,
She's so proud.
I just want to say, I don't know what else I should do. But she said all you're worried about is money, and then pins it and lets it be. And
So
then
proud.
Teresa's wheels are like.
I know.
I love Danielle.
I know. Where is she? I'm surprised she didn't fly herself to Puerto Rico. I mean, it shows you anything to stay on the show. She flew herself to Florida. They never in that first episode explained why she was in Florida. Everybody else had an excuse. With the other one, Margaret had some reason to be there, but this one just walked in, just showed up. So I like it. I like it. Do what you got to do.
Well, the most poignant part of this scene was that Siggy literally kisses Dolores' ass on the way out the door. I thought that was very emblematic of their friendship.
Oh, so true.
Next, we see Marge with Bitch Stole My Look because her mom is now wearing pigtails as well. For some reason, I don't quite like them as much, and I don't really like them on Marge, but I don't like them as much on Marge Sr. And has anybody noticed that Marge calls her mom Marge
Marge
Sr.?
Sr.
Yes.
Okay. I thought it was just
I noted the same thing. I wrote the same thing. I said, really? Where is it in here? Same thing. March Senior. I did. I swear I wrote it. I can find it. There it is.
We could take a poll, but I think Marge wore it better. So she tells her mom about, Siggy and, that she stuck up for Dolores when everybody was asking about her relationship. And so she actually calls Dolores, which I love Margaret because she just really gets right to the point with everybody. Like, maybe it's, because she's sort of pushed into it by her mom, but she does make the call and says, let's just address the issue. So I was kind of pleased with her for doing that. I was really pleased with Dolores for being pleasant because normally she's not.
She's vicious.
You're right.
She's vicious. But this episode, I think we really came to understand, which we'll get to later, of why Margaret is just so... It's topical things, and she doesn't take it as a serious issue on just these simple cat fights. And she's like, just get over it.
Yeah.
And we understand that now about Margaret, which I really liked. And it was a good way to see her insight about how she looks at the situation.
It was. I had no idea that it would get so deep, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, me neither.
Teresa gets to the El Conquistador Resort. She's already been there for 2 days, and she's already annoying her daughters, and they are already annoying me. These kids are just like, literally, I hate to talk about somebody's child, but like they are all running like they're out of control.
They run amok.
Yeah, but she's letting them.
She is.
Think about how you were at that age and what you'd always try to test your limits and what you could get away with. And if no one's there, especially not, their father figure, who I think they have a little bit more respect for than Teresa, then of course they're going to be trying to get away with everything they can. I don't blame the kids as much as I blame Teresa.
My mother would have
You're right
never
about
would have
that.
let it happen in the month of February. It just would have never.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna happen.
But you're right.
know.
It is really hard to watch as an adult
It
now.
is. It's so hard.
And when you're in the presence of your grandparents, especially growing up as a kid, did you ever feel a little bit like you had to be a little more reserved than you normally would be when they're not there?
Absolutely.
So, like, they don't give a damn.
They don't.
So, I don't think that grandfather is that active anyway as a disciplinarian. He seems just to kind of just live there. So, maybe they know they can get away with it with him, too.
Yeah.
And sleep. He does a lot of sleeping. You
Yeah.
see that. Then we get the infamous call from Danielle. She's just calling to check on Teresa and see how the vacation's going. And, interestingly, we get this, Teresa's frustrated with the fact that Danielle is being a little bit more of a friend to her than Dolores. What do we think about this?
Well, I think Dolores is. I think Danielle is being equally a kiss ass as the other two. And then she called her. Oh, your father's food was so amazing. I hope you're having such a good time. Say hello to everyone. I'm like, oh Lord, she is just trying way too hard. This one. What was your question? I'm sorry.
No, you answered it. You answered it perfectly. I mean, my question is, do we really think that, Dolores is the loyal friend that she should be?
Well, I mean, if you don't talk,
for a 20-year friendship.
If you don't talk constantly, that's the thing with friendships. They do come to an expiration date if you don't nurture them.
I think Teresa's just being sensitive.
You think she's being sensitive?
Yeah. I mean, I understand what why she would even question that, but at the same time, it's I would never consider, I don't think Danielle a better friend than Dolores. I feel like Danielle's the pot stirrer. That's always been my opinion about her, and I'd watch my back both ways. That's my opinion.
How would you feel with her as a guest? Would you still have to watch her back?
I love it. I love her as a guest. No, I don't. I just, it's
Good thing we're sitting on this side.
I totally want her sitting right here.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
I can just picture
I'd be
the
like-
outfit, the look. You know, there's a look coming.
Teach me
Love
the
it.
face. Yeah, he pretty much has it down though.
Yeah.
So.
That's what you need to do. A side by side with her.
Hi, honey. I'm so excited to be at AFTERBUZZ.
I just want her to sing a snippet of
Danielle
her
in the
single Real
building.
Close.
Yes.
What's that lady's name? Carmichael.
Lori Michaels.
Lori
Lesbian
Michaels.
superstar.
Lori
yes.
Michaels. We love that.
But this is the thing though I want to say with Dolores. We're only told how great of a friend she was with her. I haven't really
We've never seen it.
I mean, yeah, that's just because that she hasn't been on the show only the last seasons. But I mean, it's just a lot of this being told stuff. So maybe they're not as tight as we are told they are. I don't know. Maybe they were, and they just, when you're longtime friends with someone, you just consider them real close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't maybe put as much effort into it because you don't think you have to.
Yeah, but then when times change, different people come into the picture, and you add a reality show into your relationship, then things can kind of separate. And you notice it a little bit more. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Which I love. Tension. So next we go and visit Melissa and Joe is literally beating his meat. And we learn that little Joe has 3 girlfriends. And this is, okay, I just have to say this, and I'm not necessarily a feminist, but it was just interesting and Antonia looks a lot like Melissa. I just noticed that today. But Antonia can't have a boyfriend. She can't even leave the house for sleepovers.
No.
But he is celebrated for having 3 girlfriends.
Surprise.
Misogyny at its best. I
Yeah.
mean, how did you feel about this? I mean, I didn't grow up a girl, so I don't know exactly how this goes, really.
Yeah, I think it has to do with her being daddy's little girl. I think he just kind of treats her differently in general. I mean, definitely I didn't like it. You can definitely see a separation there. But yeah, it seems pretty typical old school Italian, you have all the women you want and you stay at home.
Yeah.
So I wasn't surprised by it. But yeah, it's definitely not fair.
If I'm correct, I feel like even Melissa was celebrating this.
Was she?
I feel like she was. I don't know. She's always silent when
She just goes along
silent
with
when
Joe.
she needs to speak up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm glad she did say something to him. Maybe he did realize, as we'll find out, he was being a little too strict and she can hang out with some boys.
But I do agree with there's no sleepover things with kids, especially when you reach a certain age, because it's weird out there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like if I had a kid,
What's
Hold
your
the phone.
cultural background? What are you?
Italian.
So I'm Sicilian. My
Okay.
mom's the
Oh,
same
okay.
way.
Yeah.
She's like, no, I don't trust those people. I don't trust their parents. I don't know what they're involved in. And I'm like,
Totally.
relax.
Wait a minute.
But if I had a kid, I wouldn't do it. But I would want to do it.
Yes.
I don't feel like I had sleepovers until I got a little bit older.
Same.
So I don't understand this.
No
Explain.
sleepovers after 12?
I
Well, you're
was-
having
my
sleepovers
first-
with the same
my
sex,
first-
right? With the same,
I never had
when you're...
any. I
You
never
never
had
had
any.
sleepovers?
My first sleepover was at the age of 21.
What?
Well, I know what that means.
Me too.
I don't know if
what
that was a sleepover.
A slumber party of some sort. A little bit. Yeah. No, but I don't. Yeah, I just in general with the young girls, unless if you're sleeping over maybe in a cousin's house, a family member, or your next door. I don't know.
My mom didn't even trust the neighbors.
Really? Yeah.
Maybe I was a good child, but those types of
Same.
things didn't even enter my head.
Mine either.
Like,
Like, and typically, if I was spending the night, it was with some friends in the neighborhood, and we were all like spending the night or something like that. And my parents knew who they were because everybody in the community was kind of like close.
Right.
So I guess it was never a big thing, but like.
or we had like a soccer game the next day, or like a basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
who
usually we were
knows?
waking
Like,
up for
I mean,
something on
yeah,
Saturday.
we're just like watching cartoons or whatever until we all pass out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
I was good, I guess. You know.
And at
for us.
12,
We're
oh my
all good
God.
kids, I guess, except this one until 20.
Not at Miss Grace's house. She was like, "You are not leaving. You are not spending the night in no one's house. I don't know their mother. I know their mother, but I don't know their mother." And I was like,
Oh
"Okay,
my!
I'm just gonna stay right here."
But I feel like she's a girl and she's 12, and maybe I'm thinking to myself like, I mean, that I feel like girls would be more inclined to do that. At
I mean,
12.
it is what you do. I mean, it was, she's probably left out of a lot of parties
Yeah.
and stuff, which sucks. But I'm just saying, as a parent, I would think like 6 times before I did that. But
I mean, sending your kid to a party or like a little get together is fine, and picking them up late is fine. But like allowing your child to spend the night at someone else's house, it's like you said, there's weird people out there, and you only know someone as far as you go with them.
I'm wondering though if that's what Gorga is thinking, what we're thinking, or if
Yeah.
he just doesn't want his daughter out, perhaps doing stuff that but his sons could, they can stay out. They're like half her age and they can do whatever they want. So I'm wondering if he's even thinking like we're in danger, and he's probably just thinking he wants his daughter or let daddy's little girl home.
Yeah, because I think he would totally let the boys sleep over anywhere.
Yeah.
I think he'd just let them go to a bar. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he would take them with him. So, on the way to meet Margaret, Dolores is in the car and she's obviously talking to Siggy because that's all she does. And, Siggy's glad she's not there. I'm glad she's not there. I think we're all glad she's not there. Production's glad she's not there. Nobody's gonna cry. And immediately when Dolores gets to the restaurant, they both they have some similarities that I didn't necessarily know before. Like I didn't know that they both didn't drink, which I find fascinating when people do these shows, because I think I would have to drink, which I think would cause more problems. But Marge essentially asked Dolores, what's the problem? Like, why can't we get along? And Dolores is, for the first time, I feel like receptive to a conversation, because I feel like she doesn't necessarily have the audience or Siggy behind her.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I was shocked as soon as they came in and they ordered food. I was like, I guess they're not drinking, but I was like, whoa, you plan on being here for a while. Like, that's makeup it's going to get thrown, or you never know how it's going to go. But they came in and I was like, oh, they're going to have a real conversation. And they did. So you're right. It was probably one of the most grown up conversations we've seen so far this season. And it turned out really well. So I agree with you.
On this show especially.
I didn't like how Dolores was like, "Oh, I don't find her faulty at all," but then in her confessional, she's like, "You think I'm gonna say that to Margaret?" It's like, you're just being real. Relax. Like, it's not that serious.
Yeah, Siggy had already explained to Margaret that she was gonna have the pellets anyway.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like this was some like thing to keep a secret.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I get loyalty, but I just don't get. I feel like it's a point where loyalty turns to enabling. And I think that that's what's happening here. And I think if you don't correct your friend's behavior, even if you don't want to say it in public, like I feel like you have an obligation to still say something.
Absolutely.
Or like make light of it. Like, well, do you think Siggy is emotional? Like, well, that's why she got the pellets. Just
Right.
let it be.
Right.
Because it's general knowledge. Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
I have a hard time connecting with Dolores if I were Margaret, because she's clearly just writing off her friend and just signing off on her behavior, when it's obvious. Like for me, I feel like in my relationships, I like people to be dead honest and real, and like it's not necessarily gossiping about someone, but it's
Right.
like, let's address what we're all seeing. You know what I mean? It's an insult to me if you're gonna sit across from me and say, no, everything's great. There's not a problem. We're living a gold standard life. And it's like, well, hold on. Like, clearly you're not. It's like, to me, it takes me out of it. It's not honest. But I guess she really doesn't even want to be caught dead talking about her, Siggy. But again, she'll say what she wants about Teresa's marriage. So.
Precisely. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you can be honest about what you want to be honest about, and it's very selective.
The cherry picking, that can't do that.
No.
You're either like a dead, like loyal friend till the end, or then you wish-wash.
And I prefer real, and I feel like we're starting to see a lot more wishy-washiness with Dolores.
Agreed.
And I don't like it. You know, she gives Margaret some advice about, you know, when girls that have already been in the picture are arguing, she essentially advises her to stay out of it. I don't necessarily know if that's the best advice. I mean, the women on the show are asked on the show for a reason. Like, you gotta have a point of view, you gotta have a voice, and I feel like you should respect it when somebody, you know, inserts themselves to try to stop a situation. But again, I think this goes back to her loyalty to Siggy.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think she was really trying to stop the situation, or was she trying to throw a jab in there when she called her soggy? Like, was she trying to lighten the mood, or was she really trying to, like, and then be like, I was just kidding, I was just trying to make everyone laugh? And was that some shade? Like,
I think it was shady.
I think it was definitely
Shade
shade.
at its finest.
right? That's what I thought. And then she turned it around like, I'm just trying to lighten the mood and not create. I'm like, girl, please, you know exactly what you were doing.
But
Thank you very
I
much.
feel like Margaret would call Teresa or anybody else the same thing, and they might not get as well. Teresa's Petty LaBelle, but besides that, I think everybody else would kind of just take it as like, whatever, you know, and just write it off as like, so what? You made a comment. You know what I mean?
I couldn't believe that was what Dolores was most upset about. Not about any of the other stuff or comments or the way they behaved in Siggy's house in Florida. Just that one thing, calling her soggy. That was the basis of her upset.
But that didn't even involve her.
I know,
At all.
that's the funny part.
I mean, look, if you watch other cities, people are calling each other the C word on these shows. I mean, let's be real. I mean, she's calling her soggy, like, let's get over it. Let's get over the cake. Let's get over Florida. Let's get
Oh
over
my
it.
God, please don't mention this cake.
Dolores called her
Ebba.
Siglet. That was the new name
Siglet.
this week. She called her Siglet. Did you catch that?
I did.
Oh, she did?
I was like, oh, you got a new name today.
Oh, God.
One more
Poor
star.
Siggy.
You know, it's just for her many personalities.
Oh, Lord.
There are many.
You know, they really get down to the issue of, I guess Dolores has heard from Siggy that, you know, everybody was questioning her relationship with Frank. And so Margaret got lumped into that conversation. And I think that this is where they really kind of broke the ice when Margaret was allowed to explain, no, I didn't. I'm actually shocked that Dolores believed her. I didn't think she was going to. I thought she was going to push back on that one, but she didn't. So I was happy about that. I was really, really happy about that. She also, then they start to bond over both of their unconventional relationships. And I was surprised to hear, you know, and see Margaret get emotional. This was the first time we've gotten to see that side of her.
Yeah. These were her stepkids that she was getting
Her
emotional over?
stepkids,
Yeah.
Kids. She started raising them when she was 24.
And I like she
Can
was
you
that
imagine?
comfortable to talk about it. Like, that's
Yeah.
some serious information, you know, that somebody might throw against you. You were a bad mom, and that's why your kids don't want to talk to you. Like, I'm waiting for that to come up in 2 episodes. So she obviously let herself be very...
Danielle will probably invite the 2 kids to the party.
Oh, my God. Yes. You
Can we get the
know.
kids in the
you
studio?
know.
Actually, let's get the kids in here with Danielle.
That's gonna be Danielle's special guest when she comes in. She's like, actually, I brought in 2 people who have something to say.
I'm
to
telling you.
their distant mother.
I'm telling you, when it comes to Danielle, she needed to get on the show. She needed to keep the peace with people to be able to do press. But when that reunion comes, watch her. Be real careful. That's what I'm gonna say. When she comes on,
A little
really.
scared right now.
Yeah, I really think that's when she's gonna do it, because that's when she has to secure that space next season full time. Just watch. Just watch. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it might be.
She's gonna pull the. Did you acknowledge your children?
Oh, classic.
What I'm wondering is why
Do not bring up my family.
why she wasn't a part of the main cast from the get-go. Like, what was that about?
Danielle?
Not making her a part of the main cast. I don't understand that decision still. Anybody have any insight on that?
This season?
Yeah.
Because I think they're maybe trying her out. Because you have to take back to when she had to sit down with matriarch Caroline. When she had to sit down with her, she was like, there's guys with guns here, and she was like threatening actual real harm. So it's kind of like, let's bring you back and let you taste it a little bit. And if you can act right, we'll let you have a seat at the table. But right now you're gonna sit at the children's table come Thanksgiving. You know what I mean?
You get to call Teresa, not be in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I heard her on the Morning Breath podcast talk about it. She said that she initially was really insulted. She said, I'll be very honest, she was really insulted. But she said, the people at Bravo know what they're doing, and they talked me down, and they make a lot of sense. So I'm all in. I support their decision. So maybe this is like, maybe she got like a guarantee for the next season. She's like, just put up and shut up for now, and then we'll be back. Because I have heard a rumor that she is, if they do get picked up, that she has it written down that she'll be on full time.
And then don't they get
could be a
paid
complete made up thing.
It's like a
per
lease.
episode?
Yeah.
They get paid per episode. when
As
they're-
friends of, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because I remember the one season that they demoted Luann, and that was probably one of her best seasons. So then they brought her back to full time. So maybe we'll see her full time next season.
That's why Danielle has to keep making these phone calls to get paid. It's income.
She got like 50 cents for that.
I know. What, does that count? Like if you make a phone call over a
I
speakerphone?
believe it does.
Maybe like half. It's like a half.
It's like a
Half day rate.
It was literally a minute.
That's funny.
Maybe Danielle had a downside. Remember she was selling her house too? Maybe she don't have a house. Maybe she just has a condo. And she's trying to build up her equity this season, and she's going to buy a house next season.
Well, that's why we didn't get to see the housewarming party. I'm sure she's pissed about that too. She looks good if you remember the flashbacks. Yeah.
She did. Poor thing. Well, anyway, Dolores and Margaret finally reconcile, and I thought that was the most amazing thing that happened this episode. Well, almost. I'll get to the next one in a second. Teresa has a conversation with Melania about her time away. I felt like this was an obligatory conversation. Like, producers said, you know what? Go talk to her about this. Because Melania was really like, I don't want to talk to you about this at all.
Especially with like 6 crew guys in front of her.
Every one of those Puerto Rico conversations were like forced. And I was... Yes. And I was not here for it. I agree. I was not here for it.
I didn't really understand why they followed Teresa to Puerto Rico, to be honest. Other than them having a couple conversations about like her
I agree.
mom and the kids being disrespectful. I didn't really understand why they were there.
Just to take it out of the normal area.
Take it out of the country.
Yeah,
a little
just
bit.
out of the normal area of New Jersey.
Yeah, all right.
I agree, though. It reminded me of like OC 2 seasons back when Terry and Heather went on a trip and they had cameras there. There was no content or
Nothing
anything.
going on.
So it was like, all right, what are we going to see? I knew that one scene because of the preview with her and Melania would come up. But then it was as expected, the kids on the water slide, jumping in the water and all this stuff. Like, I'm glad that she's having this time with her family. I don't necessarily need to see it. And I don't need to see a setup moment either with her daughters.
Right.
Exactly.
Those are conversations you don't have with a crew, a story producer, lighting, in public. Like, it's a lot for a kid. I mean,
Right.
even if they threw one of us in there right now, we had to have a conversation with one of our parents about some family matter. I mean, it would be a lot for us. Never mind Melania with braces, who's probably 12 years old.
Like, do you miss Daddy? She's like, obviously. Like,
Exactly.
I'd probably be
Yeah.
annoyed too. You're only asking me this for the camera.
I
don't know
would have
about you
preferred
guys.
to see
Go
this
ahead.
via cell phone footage.
I
Yeah,
would have
I
loved
agree.
to see Teresa and the dad get like jacked up, and then Gia have to watch the kids, and then like them just falling all over the place. Like, no, I'm gonna take you to the club. Like, I would have loved to see all that, but just none
Some
of that
fun.
happened.
You want fun on the
Yes.
show. You're looking for the fun.
I want Boca Raton phone.
Because the dad sounds like he could be fun, because he's always talking about like how such and such is fine and da 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 da.
That creeped me the hell out last week. I'm just gonna be real. I'm
It
just gonna be real.
did. I
Yeah.
had the same moment. I was like, no.
I don't know if it's a language barrier or if he just
The
speaks
way
very
he was
monotone.
looking,
but
no, it was crazy.
He always has like an open lip. He catches flies. It's like,
Oh my god.
yeah, you can't. Yeah, you gotta fix that.
And I know that this is a sensitive topic, but I really don't want him to keep being reminded of
his
his
wife.
wife that has just passed. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we are overemphasizing this point. And the kids, we know they're bad. Everybody knows they're bad. We get it. I don't need to see it 5 times this episode.
Yeah.
I don't need to see it at all.
But I think at this point we're not even 2 months into the post the death of her mother, right? Isn't it like still really soon? Didn't it just happen? Because she said it's been a month, and then we're gonna go on this trip. I think she said this 2 weeks previous to this show, so it still is pretty fresh. This death, it hasn't been 6 months. We'll say that, you know. So I mean, I can understand why they're making such a big deal about it.
I just don't like it because I feel like every time we have to, it's it's gonna continue to make him cry. And I'm
yeah.
thinking that it's just why do we keep bringing this up to
break
him?
his heart.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like picking at a scab.
Especially on vacation.
Exactly. Like, I would have rather seen them actually having some fun and making, this situation a little bit brighter. I think that would have been preferable for me. We could have seen more of Danielle this episode and less of Teresa and the kids.
Again, less of a few others.
Amen.
Okay. Speaking of which, we see Melissa. She's going shopping with Antonia for another obligatory scene. And we know now that Antonia doesn't go for one pieces. That was probably the most interesting thing for me in this scene. And she doesn't want to talk about boyfriends. Surprise. Yeah. Now, are we surprised to also learn that Antonia is scared of Joe Gorga?
No.
I wasn't because I fast forwarded through it. I did not know that. Sorry. I never do that, but I was like, okay, I was trying to catch up to y'all to be able to come in here. So I was like, this is a quick, I knew instantly, it wasn't going to have the juice that I'm looking for in the show.
The most important thing I think about this scene was that Melissa started to understand a bit more about why Teresa is a little bit more lenient with the kids, because it's a balance to how strict Joe Gorga is.
Okay.
So that was a really nice callback and tie-in, and hopefully wrapped up that topic forever. We're back in Puerto Rico again, and the kids are having a photo shoot. They're still bad. They're still running all over her, and nothing new there to report. You guys notice anything else?
Nono was red as a lobster. I felt really bad. He
fell asleep.
Burnt to a crisp. Like, poor man.
All the girls looked nice.
Yes, and the actual photo, the final photo, looked really, really good.
But it was so inauthentic. I mean, that's normal family photos. I'm not hating on that at all. But it's like, Mom, shut up.
Family photo post.
Like,
I know.
Like, I'm just like, this is the most inauthentic family photo ever that they're sending to.
I felt the same way.
I've never
posed.
I've never told my mom to shut up a day in my life.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't even think I'll be alive anymore.
I'm guilty of that. I pushed my boundaries quite a bit.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Were you Melania?
A little bit.
Oh my God.
I was a difficult child.
That's why you couldn't spend the night anywhere.
I was grounded all the time.
I knew what I wanted and I didn't let anyone get in my way. So
You're making trouble then. You're making trouble now.
Oh my
Graham.
God, I know. I never change. Really.
So then Joe and Antonia had their obligatory daddy date at the trampoline park, which is called Urban Air. I don't know why I noticed that, but it was probably the most exciting thing about that scene as well. And we know that Joe can't flip because he gave all of his athletic skills to Antonia when she was born.
Oh, it was funny.
You know what? As much as boring as this scene was, I love Joe and Melissa as they're just like, they're the coolest parents ever. Like, he will do anything for his wife.
Yeah.
She's like, talk to your daughter. He took her to the little jumpy place. He will do anything for his kids. I can't say that about the rest of the husbands on the show.
Ooh,
but that's as far as we go, that one.
I kind of like the ending of this scene where, they kind of came to an understanding, and, that was really sweet.
Yeah.
I was happy about that.
Seems real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did seem very, very real.
Hopefully we have now wrapped up the bad kids storyline and we can move on to other things. Speaking of other things, Dolores and Siggy do a double date with Frank, curiously, and Michael. This is curious to me because I'm thinking, if you're going to be double dating with anybody, shouldn't it be your boyfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not your ex-husband?
Did you catch the side eye from Frank when they mentioned that?
I didn't.
He said, I was like,
oh, good catch.
You know you're not supposed to be there.
That is so interesting. My thing is, does her boyfriend not want to be filmed? Like,
Maybe.
Is this the deal?
Maybe.
Because I would be kind of like, why are you spending all your time on camera with this man?
I'll find out. I will see your response.
Cool.
I
I'll find out.
I felt bad for Dolores when she met with Margaret, and she was like, basically her whole life was revolving around when Frank had time for her. You know, she said that.
I do.
Yeah, that
And
was.
she had to was like the town babysitter and like took care of all these kids, and she would just wait by the door for Frank to come home after leaving his girlfriend's house. That's no way to live. So you know what? Maybe this shows her second life, and I hope that her life is more exciting than that.
Well, I definitely wouldn't be taking Frank with me to these dates.
Nope.
No.
She took him with her to the restaurant tasting. She's going on double dates with him. I'm like, you left me at home all those times. You stay at home too.
Exactly. This is my life. This is my show that I'm on. Like,
Right.
You're not even
Deal
allowed
with
to
it.
be filmed. You can
Maybe
be in the background.
Frank is still using her to get publicity now, so that's why he's been around so much. Like, oh, he doesn't want to be filmed. I'll be filmed. I'll come with you with your friends, because maybe he's looking for another side girl.
oh.
Those men could have stayed at
There's a
home.
way. I like it. There's a way. Yeah. I mean, maybe there's a motive there. Wouldn't that be awful, using the mother of his children to get another girlfriend? Okay.
He used her the first time.
Shout out
love
to
it.
the sound
I
effects.
know.
I love it. They're like
And they-
right on point. It's like in my head. I love it. You know, it's just odd to me because, you know, we all know that, you know, her boyfriend is probably out buying them more food for dessert to bring home to him. It's just weird.
No, you didn't.
I did. I
No,
did.
you didn't.
He buys them food.
Yeah, some real raw steaks. I mean, my God, those people are gonna get sick. I don't know. Maybe that's the idea. You know, I mean, I was shocked, but I was not. I wouldn't be eating those steaks. Just saying.
Well, we learned that the pellets are working.
Oh yeah, that makeup.
Siggy's
sesh.
feeling more sexual, so maybe a sexy Siggy now.
Oh, sexy Siggy. Come
That's
on,
a-
new name come through.
That's the thing. You know, like I don't. You know, certain people just don't picture having sex. Like I don't view her as a sexy person. You know what I mean?
You
She's
don't
very.
see Siggy having wild sex with Michael?
I really don't. I think she's too distracted. I feel like she's too busy and into other people's business. I can't picture it.
I feel like if anything, she'd be more like bobbing around the whole entire room. And Michael's trying to catch her.
Really?
I feel like
maybe.
they'd be doing it and she's on the phone with Dolores.
That's what I mean.
Wow.
She's the girl that's having sex on the cell phone. That's like she's on the
Oh
phone.
my God, that's so right.
She's booking a retreat with like 6 women in a nail salon. She doesn't have any time for any sex.
So on point.
So Dolores tells them about her conversation with Margaret. And, you know, surprisingly, Siggy is still upset for what reason, I have no clue, because I thought that this issue was patched up like 2 or 3 episodos ago. I don't understand why she's still mad. If Dolores isn't mad anymore, and Dolores isn't angry,
Yeah.
about a lot. But if she's softened up to the point where she's telling you, your friend, you know, like, cut her some slack. Like, I was shocked that Siggy was still carrying that bone.
If you don't vibe with someone, you'll hold on to a grudge like that. Maybe they just don't vibe and she's looking for an excuse as to why she doesn't like her. Maybe she just straight up doesn't and she's trying to justify it.
But if you also can't forgive someone for what they've done to you, you can't move on with your life.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's right.
Some
but
people
yeah.
look,
As
some
a
people look
relationship
back,
expert,
and other people should look forward. Mm-hmm. And Siggy keeps looking back when she should be looking forward.
I don't know how much her expertise is helping her.
Oh, I know. We forget that she's a relationship
She's a
therapist.
relationship
Expert, not even a therapist. Expert. One of the most talented people in the world, too.
So she says.
Uh-oh.
So finally they get her to come around and sort of, you know, agree to come to some amicable place with Margaret. I am not convinced that this is going to last because I think she just likes to hold a grudge. I think she's just one of those people. She will just continue to hold a grudge despite how many times she says, I forgive you.
Totally.
She likes drama.
That's ugly as a
It just
person.
gives her,
It is,
gives her
isn't it
life.
though?
Yeah.
It's like at a certain point, you got to let it go.
Yeah, because while you're holding on to this grudge, that other person is outliving their life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Their best life.
And you can't keep
Yes.
telling the person that you're okay with them and not really being okay with it either.
Right.
It's one thing if you're just like, nope, I really don't like you, period. But if you're gonna keep saying, you know what, okay, let's go to a diner again and talk, like, you can't. It doesn't count for anything.
No.
Your word doesn't mean anything. So
And I think as a viewer, it gets old. You know what I'm saying? In a season where we only have 12 episodes, I'm going to need you to get over this faster.
Yeah.
I do.
are we halfway? Isn't this 6?
We are halfway.
Halfway through.
Okay then.
We are at that mark.
We need to get Danielle in here. Where's bringing the Kim D with the? Let's keep it
How are
going.
you?
Do you see her
That's
as
Kim
a
G.
sexy
That my
roach?
bad. That's Kim G.
Kim G. Yes.
How are you?
Do you know she is Twitter verified, Kim G?
Is she really?
Yeah, she is. For what? I can't.
Love her. I used to live for Kim G.
Kim
I
G.
miss her.
Her cover photo on Twitter is her wrapped in this big fur coat. Good for her.
Good for
She
her.
made the most of that, like, 3.5 episodes, season 2. Good for her.
She worked it.
Kim G, ladies and gentlemen.
Hand clap. And speaking of hand clap, we are just about at the end of this episode, which I felt like was kind of like a filler episode, to be very honest with you.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping that we get to some more action next week. But before we go, we got to talk about Teresa having this final conversation with her father while they're in Puerto Rico. And he basically tells her, you got to be stricter with the kids. And she admits, this isn't the same time period when I was growing up, and you could, I know it's the same for me. My dad could like look at me and I'm just like, I gotta go run in my room. Like I can't deal, And obviously she grew up the same way, so I'm not understanding why she doesn't insert a little bit of that into the girls. Like, you can't be friends with your children when they're growing, when you're trying to parent them, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like she needs to recognize that, but I feel like she's so caught up in guilt.
Yes, exactly.
From being away, from everything that Joe did, to Joe being away.
It's understandable. She knows they're going through a tough time. Why would she make their lives more difficult? They're the 4 daughters that she's always talking about.
Yeah.
I get it, but yeah, as a parent, you have to.
You have to.
And I like that she threw in there that she was disappointed at Joe, mad at Joe even, for
Right.
taking those 11 months and kind of being messy with everything that she could have spent with her mom. I really liked her saying that. I was like, yeah. For one, she's not sticking up for,
Yeah.
How do we think she's going to feel with Dolores having said what she said about Joe Giudice earlier?
She's gonna flip a table.
I hope so.
She's gonna flip a table, or she might even hit her with a car.
I feel like Dolores would fight back. I don't know why I feel like she would. Really
There's
do.
just certain places that you don't go.
Yeah.
I agree.
And that's one, especially because Teresa was very topical about the whole living situation with Dolores and her man. And Dolores went digging, so she's going to find something on the other side.
Well, tune in next week to see what she does find. This concludes our episode of AfterBuzz TV, Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 8, Episode 6. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Richie Skye. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at DJ Richie Skye.
And I'm Traci Propst. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Traci Propst.
And I'm Russell Ray. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Russell Ray Silva.
And if you want even more Real Housewives of New Jersey, I'm talking about it on my podcast, Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk. Whoops.
Rate us, listen to us, share us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.